Mermaid Vibes doesn't just have to be for the summertime. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back. I'm Jeannie, and in today's video I've got the new Sea & Designer Dips Winter Mermaid Volume 1 collection, and we're going to use some of these gorgeous colors to create a mani. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen the exciting news that I was invited to be a part of the Sea & Designer Dips ambassador team, and I was so thrilled. If you've followed me for a while, you know that I'm a huge fan of Sea & Designer Dips, and I absolutely love everything she makes. So I am just so excited to join such an amazing team. This collection was gifted to me as part of being an ambassador to Preview, so I'm going to share them with you today. Isn't this collection just so beautiful? And it definitely does give me Winter Mermaid vibes. But of course, as per usual, I couldn't decide what colors I wanted to use for this mani because I wanted to use them all. So we're going to use as many as possible without looking like a hot mess, or hopefully not looking like a hot mess. You'll have to tell me how you think this turned out. I'll also be using my Sea & Designer Dips dip liquids, which I have been loving lately. And I'm starting with the color Say Freeze. This is a beautiful, sheer, milky purple color, and you know how I feel about purple. I love all shades of purple, and this is absolutely no exception. But it's not going to just be the color on its own. I'm actually going to do an ombre on this one, but because it's a sheerer color, I'm actually going to do 2 full dips, and then I will tap some of the glitter on half my nail. The ombre method I use really depends on the opacity of the colors that I'm looking to ombre. So because Say Freeze is a sheer purple color and Icebreaker is also sheerer, it's like a milky white base with the glitters, I feel like if I just went in straight with 2 layers of ombre, they just wouldn't build enough opacity and color. So that's why I'm laying down 2 layers of Say Freeze first, and then I will sprinkle the glitter on top, and that way they'll really pop against Say Freeze rather than just being against my bare nail. So if they were more opaque colors, I could easily just ombre them together, whether they are solids or glitters. As long as they're opaque, then they can kind of stand on their own, but because they're both sheerer, I want to lay down a base color first. I don't know whether that made sense or not. Hopefully it did, but once you look at the finished pic of the mani, you can kind of see what I'm talking about when I talk about the sheerness and the opacity of doing an ombre. I'm going to do the same process for Frostbite, and this is going to be on my ring finger, and Frostbite is a sheer milky blue color, so it's like the sibling to Say Freeze, and I told you I'm going to use as many colors as I can in this mani. I think I ended up with 4 colors, but I really wanted to use all 6, but I could not figure out how to make that work. I'm not going to cap my two solid nails in clear just yet because I will be doing an ombre on top of them. So now we're going to get into Icebreaker. And like I mentioned, Icebreaker is a beautiful milky white base, and it's got like light purple glitters and dark blue glitters and white glitters, and they're all kind of like different size hex glitters, and it's just so pretty. So for my first dip, I'm going to do on my middle finger, and that's going to be a full finger of Icebreaker. So I'm just going to dip into the jar, and if you see me kind of moving my finger around, it's because my nails are a little bit longer, and these are actually sample jars. So the great thing about CN designer dips is you can buy sample sizes, which I love because I have enough dips to last like 100 lifetimes. So I make myself feel better about it by getting sample jars. But the thing I love about CN designer dips is they still put their samples in quarter-ounce jars, so you don't have to worry about manipulating tiny jars or baggies. They actually still put them in their quarter-ounce full-size jars. I just poured my jar out into my Dipped in Chaos by Chaos Concepts because I thought that would make less of a mess once I get into my ombre. So what I'm going to do for my ombre for both my index finger and ring finger is I'm going to apply my dip base to a little over half my nail closest to my middle finger, which is that full nail of the glitter. And I don't want to do my whole nail because I don't want glitter on the whole nail. I just want it to kind of fade towards the center. So I've got my finger pointed away from my middle finger, and that way I can concentrate most of the glitters on that sidewall closest to my middle finger and have the glitters fall and kind of fade towards the center, a little over the center. Obviously you want it to look natural. You don't want it to look too planned out, but you just want it to gently fade. And then I didn't get a lot of the chunky glitter, so I'm just going to do a little bit of glitter placement. And you know, the dip base is a little bit of a faster drying dip base, so I just applied a little bit more just so I could get some of those chunkier glitters to stick. I don't know if this is weird or not, but I actually find glitter placement oddly relaxing and I enjoy doing it. I don't know, does anyone else feel that way or do you hate doing glitter placements? But in any case, now that my glitter placement is done, now that my ombre is done on my index and ring finger, I'm now going to do my second layer of glitter on my middle finger. And so I dusted off all the excess powder and glitter, and now I'm going to lay my finger flat into the glitter. So kind of dual purpose of dumping my powder into my Dipped in Chaos is one, I created a little less of a mess with my glitter ombre. I do realize I made a mess anyway because the glitters fell from my brush onto my mat, but it also helps to lay in the chunkier glitters. You don't have to use the Dipped in Chaos for your pour over or lay flat, although I highly recommend them. I just prefer them because they're reusable. So once I'm done with them, I could just wipe off the powder with a duster brush and they're clean again. And then if they get too dirty, I can wash them out with some warm soap and water and they're clean again. So I really like the fact that they're reusable. They're eco-friendly. You can use a cupcake liner if you don't want to buy any Dipped in Chaos, but I just don't like that they're disposable and they're creating more waste. And I legit no longer use cupcake liners. I have about maybe 10 Dipped in Chaos. Like I have a bunch of them because I like to use them when I'm swatching. And so I don't want to just have to do one color at a time because I need to dump the powder to in order to use another powder. And I have some for glitters, I have some for solids, I have some for clear. So darker colors, like I have definitely color coded my Dipped in Chaos and they are definitely a game changer for me. But back to what I'm doing with my mani because I know I got a little sidetracked. I got pretty good coverage on my second layer of Icebreaker because I laid my finger flat into the glitter, but I thought I wanted a little more pop of color, a little more of those colored glitters. So I'm just doing a little bit of glitter placement where I want a little bit more of that color. So I had applied a full layer of dip base on my nail. I'm dipping my cuticle tool into that wet dip base and that'll help me pick up any of these larger pieces of glitter. So once that wet dip base is on kind of that tip of my precision tool, that's what picks up those glitters. So now I'm just kind of checking it to see I have it where I want it. I'm not going to bother capping these in clear because they're all glitter nails anyway. For the rest of my nails, I'm going to be using Always Salty, which is a fine glitter mix. So it looks like it has like baby blue glitters. It looks like there's some dark blue, some silver, maybe some iridescent. It's just a really beautiful, fine glitter mix that's really easy to work with. So that's going to be on my pinky and thumb. And honestly, I debated whether I should just do Frostbite and Say Freeze on my pinky and thumb, but I really wanted to use more of the colors and I thought Always Salty would go with the rest of the colors I did because you could never go wrong with glitter. So we're going to go with that. I'm going to do 2 layers and then I will be back to cap and clear. Now that all my nails are done, I'm going to go ahead and cap everything in clear using the Ultra Clear 2020 from CN Designer Dips as well. I always cap everything in clear regardless, but if you are working with glitters, make sure that you're encapsulating it with something. If you're using gel method, you can encapsulate it with gel base and gel top coat. You can use clear builder gel. You just make sure you're encapsulating and protecting your glitters, because as you file and buff, you don't want to file through those glitters and remove some of that color. Once my dip base is completely dry, I'm going to give it a good scrub with a stiff scrub brush, and that's going to remove any of the excess powder and eliminate any graininess or cloudiness, which I don't have any issues with this clear. It's a really great one. And then I'm going to go in and activate my nails. So I'm going to apply a generous amount of activator just to make sure it gets through all those layers. I'm going to file and buff off camera, and then I'll be back. Now I'm back all filed and buffed. I cleaned up my shape a little bit, and I'm so happy with the way this is looking, and I'm definitely glad I used all the colors that I could. So I'm going to apply my final layer of activator, wait 2 minutes, and then I'm going to use the CN Designer Dips Dip Top Coat. And if you haven't tried their dip top coat yet, it is super shiny and really gorgeous. Top coat is always my favorite part of a mani, because then you can see the finished look of all your hard work. So what I'm going to do is I waited 2 minutes for my activator to dry, and now I'm going to go in with my dip top coat. So for each nail, I'm going to do 2 to 3 really quick swipes on each nail, and before returning the brush to the bottle, I'm wiping it off on a lint-free wipe. And that way, if any activator got on there, it'll prevent contamination, because the last thing you want to do is contaminate your entire bottle of top coat. So I'm going to do these 2 to 3 quick swipes on all the nails, and once I'm done with all 5 nails, I'll be ready for my second and final layer of top coat. And you'll know you're ready when your top coat starts looking a little dull, a little wrinkly. That's when you know you can go in with your second layer. So for your second layer, you can take your time. You can do more than 2 to 3 quick swipes, although I wouldn't recommend too many swipes because you can over swipe. But you can just make sure everything's covered evenly, that you've got everything well covered. I think I already said that, but anyway, make sure you're capping your free edge, and that will help with longevity. And if you don't know what I mean when I say capping your free edge, you'll notice that after I do the surface of my nail, I take the brush and I swipe it around the end of my nail right there, and that's my free edge. So I'm making sure I'm wrapping that top coat, and that helps your nails kind of stay on. It helps with longevity. As always, I'm finishing off my mani by rehydrating my cuticles, and I'm using Scales of a Mermaid in the scent Breaking News, I Don't Care, which is her newest release. And I'm sorry, I just looked it up and it's sold out, and it is so good. Not only the scent, but the message. So the message is really, it's 2023, put yourself first, put those haters behind you, don't worry about them, just focus on you. And I absolutely love that message, and I think we should all take that into this year. It's a new year, so just focus on you. But this scent, it starts kind of florally, but then it kind of shifts into more of like a fruity scent. It smells so good. And of course, it's always really hydrating, but I just love the scent of this. So I bought this in not only the oil, but the mini butter lotion. And here's the finished look. What do you think? I hope I didn't go too overboard. I feel like all these colors go well together. I feel like it's pretty seamless, even though I know I went crazy with 4 colors. But I just couldn't help myself because I loved this collection so much. But really, I love anything CN Designer Dips releases, and I am so, so grateful that I get to be a part of her amazing team. She doesn't have individual ambassador codes, but there is code FRIENDSGET10, and you can use that on any order and get 10% off. So if you pick up anything from there, feel free to use it. I hope this video was helpful and maybe provided you a little bit of inspo. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue creating content like this, and it also helps YouTube recommend me to others. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I upload content every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.